Hello and welcome. Boy, am I not excited. It has been a journey, long coming, and officially we are here. This is the Distant Podcast with me, Alan Herbert, your host. The Distant Podcast is a podcast where we get to have candid conversations about disability. We are not filtering anything out. We are bringing you the advocacy journey, the awareness creation, and also things that you've never heard about spoken in the disability space. Sex, entrepreneurship, education, politics, all you're going to be finding it on this podcast, the Distant Podcast, which is actually brought to you by Al Concepts. Al Concepts is a digital media company that is seeking to communicate to all folks who are disabled, but also to make sure that communication gets accessible to all persons with disabilities. Now, this is the first season of the Distant Podcast, and it is going to be a 12-part series. This is the first season of the Distant Podcast, and this was recorded live at the recently concluded Inclusive Africa Conference 2023 here in Nairobi at the Radisson Blu Hotel. Now, a little bit about the Inclusive Africa Conference. This is a conference that is held yearly by an organization called inABLE. And inABLE are an organization, a non-government organization that seeks to make sure that learners with disabilities have access to technology that makes sure they access education and lift the barriers that might exist in technology and limit learners with disabilities to access education. That is a little bit about inABLE. But in this first episode of this series, we get to speak with Julius Mbura. He is one of the gentlemen who were in charge making sure that the inABLE conference was a success. Now, Julius gets to talk about the history of the Inclusive Africa Conference, where it all began in 2020 and where it is right now in 2023. And also, he got to speak about what the future holds for the conference. He got to speak about the things that he loved most creating for the Inclusive Africa Conference 2023, which one of them, he said that the Innovation Hub was one of the biggest novelty that he was able to work on in the conference. And just a snippet of what the Innovation Hub was about. This is a hub that brought together, it was a village, an innovation village, that brought together over 17 innovations across Africa in the same room, and innovators getting to speak to people who would be interested in their innovations. I was there live and I was also impressed. Here is Julius Mbura talking to us about the Inclusive Africa Conference, what he thinks about the conference, what the conference was all about, and what the conference holds in the future. Do enjoy the content, and if you have any views, comments, do let them or do put them in the comment section. Enjoy. So kindly introduce yourself.
Yes.
Majina ya serikali, ya usanii, pia ile sweetheart ambayo anakuitaga kwa nyumba.
Yeah. Thank you very much for having me. And I really appreciate. We need such platforms to advocate, and to put our voices out there. So my name is Julius Mbura, aka Julio Supercharge. AKA Daredevil, AKA Kipofu Kierere. So,
are you a Manchester United fan?
Not really. I don't even like football.
Okay, you just like supercars.
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
I'm more of a car person.
And
so I'm the advocacy officer at inABLE. Head of legal. I wear many hats. And also head of computer assistive technology labs. And also head of innovations when it comes to the Inclusive Africa Conference. And this is the 4th edition, but the second conference that is in person. So last year we did an in person, which was amazing. We decided we are going to do better. And here we are. We can only go above what we did and the impact we created. And this year, I'm glad to announce that, we have innovators from 30 different African countries and beyond. And we also have, there's an award I actually created called the Inclusive Africa Icon Award. This is to honor persons with disabilities who are doing tremendous job impacting the society using assistive technology and assistive products. So the work that they display and put out there to show that disability is not a limitation and that you can go beyond your disability to break the barriers that society creates and to be a person, a brand by yourself. That's why we have that. But we also we launched the Inclusive Africa Assistive Technology Innovations Award and an innovation village. So we launched the village. It's sort of like innovators showcasing their work and having to share with venture capitalists, funders, and also like-minded individuals in their field. So the conference is supposed to give a platform to share information, but to also advance these conversations and also improve on whatever we are doing. Last year we launched the first ever ICT accessibility standard, which is the KS 2952. It's supposed to give guidelines on how products and services from government to private sector are supposed to comply and have accessibility built in them, and to also consider reasonable accommodation for persons with disabilities. And I am happy to announce that this year we even had a closed door roundtable, panel for the developers, key actors, and government representatives to talk about the implementation, because we rolled out the implementation, but it can't happen overnight.
Absolutely.
We need like 5 years. So we need strategies, we need a way to penetrate the market, but to also sensitize the manufacturers, the suppliers, people who are decision makers to adopt the standard. And to the key aim is to promote disability inclusion, disability mainstreaming, and to improve on disability digital accessibility. Because for the longest time we've been grappling with questions of why don't we have systems that are inclusive? Why don't we come up with ideas and innovative ways to make sure that when you have a system, an app, a website, platform, a portal, whatever, you make sure that persons with disabilities are not an afterthought. They are part and parcel of the whole process. So that you don't start talking about cost implication when you're trying to break the walls to build it up again. Because that's double work. So when you make things accessible from the onset, you actually do justice not only for the users, but even for the developers to have an easier time on how to make it better, to even incorporate everyone. And that is the spirit that we want to spread all over, not only in Africa, but all over the globe. Because disability is not unique to Kenya. It's not unique to Julius. It's a universal issue. And accessibility is a universal language that is supposed to be spoken by everyone. And on whatever capacity that you are on, you can still promote. And if you commit yourself to eliminating a barrier, you go an extra mile to making sure that the generation that is coming up of persons with disabilities, they will be proud in their own skin to know that we thought about them and we listened, and there is no disparity of us versus them, because nothing like that.
Interesting there. And there are so many things that you've said in an introduction, but let me sort of take you back. Give us a little bit about background about inABLE, because I was interacting with a few people and they're like, why the word or the naming inABLE? And obviously it would mean so many things in grammar.
I know.
But why exactly the name?
So the name inABLE, IN is actually lowercase. If you've noticed,
it is.
And able is capital. It's capital to emphasize on ability. It's capital to symbolize that despite these different disabilities and diverse challenges, you still have the innate ability in you. And the in is supposed to symbolize and show that the ability that we are supposed to be concerned with is not the outward. It's actually inside ability. And I know we talk about disability is not inability. So this is not the inability that we talk about as a negative. This is the positive inward ability. And that's why the distinction of in and able is supposed to be there for you to understand that the inside ability matters more. So we empower potential. And potential is only from inside. And once you quiet all the noises in you, you start, coming up strong with the parameters of what makes you to be a distinct individual. Then you start harnessing on your skill set, your talents, everything that you're passionate about, and you go over and above what you're even like set out to. And the society will give like a snapshot of how you're supposed to be, and the culture that you were coming from, very dominant culture of trying to destroy our sense of self, sense of belief. It's supposed to sort of like put you in a cocoon and show you that you're not able. And that's why inABLE empowers persons with disabilities through assistive technology and digital accessibility, and going over and above to show that you can do all this from a foundational level. And that's why we started with the schools to sort of give that nice background. And foundation is everything. So if you start training the kids on adaptive computer assistive technology, they grow up knowing that everything that they've been told is out of reach is actually
in reach.
Yes. And I am a beneficiary of the program. So I interacted with inABLE when I was in school. School for the blind. And here I am. I transitioned from high school, from doing pure braille to using a computer with a screen reader to the power of computer skills that we are trying to spread. And now we are not talking about visually impaired and blind only. We are spreading out, spreading our wings, scaling up, and going over and above to engulf all disability communities to make sure that we understand that disability matters are not, the minute, challenges people would think. To have a disability and to conquer, that's a pride. And to also like go towards your aspirations, finding what you resonate with, to ignite your fire within you. That's something we need to unlock. And that's why I mentor kids with disabilities, to show them that, your disability is not supposed to define you in any way. As a matter of fact, you're supposed to show people it's actually a strength. For lack of a better word. With my blindness, I've done things that people can't fathom how I actually operate. And I did that because I found my voice, I found my spirit that had been suppressed by the fact that I was very negative at the beginning and listening to people, which actually affects your self-esteem, sense of awareness. But once you start breaking the barriers and moving away from your comfort zone, you actually get exposed, and you surround yourself with people who take you inside yourself to points you can't reach by yourself. Yes.
Interesting there. You, this year at the conference, inABLE is celebrating 15.
Yes.
What are some of the, definitely it will be a proud celebration, given that you encountered inABLE while you are in high school, and you are leading more than 4 departments in the organizations right now. That is definitely a big celebration, a big thing to celebrate. But beyond that, what else do you think that really stands out when inABLE is turning 15?
So when inABLE is turning 15, there is a lot to be proud about. There's a lot to reflect on, and the first thing I would say is the computer program, the computer assistive technology program, because that is the the core of what inABLE stands for.
Yeah.
And we are now established in 8 schools for the blind across 4 counties in Kenya, and looking to expand. Then the second thing I would say is the conference. You know, the conference brings ideas, ideologies, people thinking beyond 2, 5, 10 years.
Yeah.
Visionaries, innovators, and people leading in their sector, different fields, to actually come share knowledge, but also talk about what do we need to do when we go back home, the call to action on how to best promote disability inclusion. Then I'd say the third thing is the so there's the conference, and the conference is supposed to bring the whole umbrella and the whole conversation. But we actually launched the first ever ICT accessibility standard. It's not a small thing. It's
indeed
first
it
of its
isn't.
kind in Africa. That can tell you a lot, and it holds so much on giving guidance on what needs to be put in place for compliance when it comes to digital accessibility, when it comes to inclusive employment, when it comes to products being in a way that when it comes from factory, Julius can use it. When it comes from factory, someone who's deaf can interact with it. And having services that are custom and not custom made, but are
universally sort of built.
Yes.
Interesting.
Universal language.
And those indeed are very elaborate things that need to be celebrated. We are coming because there is so much that we can talk about when we are having a conversation with you, but you could allow us to limit this to the conference, but probably on another episode we'll go into the character of you being a daredevil and a supercharger. We'll talk about that. But as we're winding up, I was very fascinated by the innovation village. What I saw the advertisement that you put out when you drum rolls and all of that and all of that. I got to watch that. What criteria were you going through to identify the applications or the innovations that would showcase at the village? And did you do it deliberately to include, because I realized there was a high number of innovations that are targeted towards the deaf community. Is it that they applied overwhelmingly and you necessarily had to pick them, or the innovators were more from solving that particular issue, or what was really the criteria?
So the criteria was towards accessibility and making sure that persons with disabilities get innovative ways of delivering and being one with the community, not excluded, because we don't live in isolation.
True.
Again, the innovators that we had overwhelmingly, beautiful and amazing applications from all over Africa. And we had a panel of judges. They took actually more time deliberating on which innovation should come, because we are funding the innovators to come, and we are actually hosting them locally, from different countries for the 3 days, actually 5 days, because there is the arrival date and the departure date. But I'd say with the innovations, we were not looking at particular innovations. We were being very open to new ideas. And even the innovations that are there, even if they are for particular disabilities, if we find like 2 that are looking at blindness, they are very unique in themselves. One is very separate from the other. You wouldn't say that they are like
alike.
They are alike, or they borrow from each other. They might borrow from each other, but what they are looking to solve, totally different. So it got to a point where we were actually even battling, do we cut this number to reduce it? Because if you look at it, we really wanted to have everyone, but considering other parameters like space, budget, constraints, all those, if you put that and we still have the conference, a bigger conference, because the Innovation Village was like an event inside an event.
An event, definitely.
By its own.
Yeah.
So it had its own brain moving, and I was privileged to design the whole thing.
Yeah.
Because it's a source of pride to know that we are bringing all these young minds to show us where we need to be, and the gaps that are there. So the criteria did not favor any particular set of innovations, or tried to give like a particular path to like a theme. The whole theme is supposed to be quality and final quality products for persons with disabilities, and even without, because we are encouraging the innovators not only to look at products that will benefit persons with disabilities, but anyone else. You know, you can have a disability, but you understand a gap and you know an innovative way to actually close that gap. Why not go for it? You know.
Interesting. Where next?
Next is going bigger, and I'm talking about looking at even implementation and execution of, because most of these innovations are actually on like beta stages and prototype stages. So if we can get more partners who believe in our dream to actually help us take these innovations into market, and also everything that we've been sharing, like the knowledge, the wealth of knowledge, if we can put that into action, you know, and make the steps towards inclusion, towards equality, towards better future for persons with disabilities, I think that's next. Because Disney said imagination is a preview of what's to come. We've imagined of a brighter future. Let's see it happen. There's no limit. The limit can only be in your heads. Yes.
Is there anything that you'd even like to add on, based on that nugget? Because I believe that is very strong right there.
I'd say we are not defined by our disabilities in any way, and the disability space, it's the next big thing. And mark my words, we will shape, because we know of the best ways of making sure that there's a progressive society. Because if there's discrimination and we eliminate it from an angle of disability, then you're creating a more inclusive society. Then you start looking at sustainability, you start looking at empowerment. That right there, we are the trendsetters. And for persons with disabilities, I'd urge you to come out stronger. Don't think about your disability. Don't amplify on your challenges. Don't be a victim of your circumstances. Use it as a strength. Yes.
He has said it all. Do not be a victim of your circumstances, but just come out tall and do what you are able to do. Of course, the platform remains open, and I hope you will give us another opportunity on another date, which won't be probably at such a beautiful hotel as a Radisson Blu.
We can look for one. We can pull strings.
But wherever we will be, we'll hope that we'll be able to have a conversation. And of course, if you could get us also in touch with Madam Irene and see, to get to understand it from a founder's point of view, which I believe you've represented well, but also getting to hear it from her and also get to sort of understand now what is the bigger dream and where do we go next, or where does inABLE go next. I think that will be pretty beautiful. Thank you very much for the time, and wishing you the best during dinner.
Thank you. Looking forward to it.
All right. Thank you very much, guys, for watching, and see you in the next one.